Alright, hello boys and girls. Today we're going to be taking a look at section 3.1 where we're going to be identifying pairs of lines and angles. Now, first thing we have to do is get some vocabulary out of the way, so we're going to talk about three words: parallel lines, skew lines, and parallel planes. Now, parallel lines are lines that do not intersect and are coplanar. Parallel lines have the same slope. Now, if you take a look here in our picture, we can see two lines that are holding up the wall there towards the back. They would be parallel lines because they're both on that same back wall and they're never going to intersect. They would be parallel lines. Another quick example would be maybe up in the windows on that same back wall, but this time each one of the structures there in the window, you can see what's highlighted there in pink. Those are also going to be parallel lines. Now, skew lines are lines that do not intersect and are not coplanar, and parallel planes are going to be two planes that do not intersect at all. So let's go ahead and take a look at a figure here to see what some of these vocabulary words look like. We're going to start off about thinking with example 1 here. Think of each segment and the figure as part of line. Which line or lines or plane or planes in the figure appear to fit the description? So we've got what looks to be some sort of box with all these different pieces and parts of it that are labeled according to the diagram. So here, we'll take a look at part A. The lines that we want to know that are parallel to line CD and contain point A. Now, if I take a look at that, CD is located right here, and point A, of course, is located right there. Now, what I want to do is take a look at which line is parallel to CD, and that is going to be AB. So line AB is going to be the one line that's going to be parallel to CD and contain point A. Now for question B, we're going to take a look at trying to find lines that are skewed to line CD that contain point A. So skew lines, remember, skew lines have to be in different planes. So what I want to do is take a look at the two planes that CD is a part of, and that's going to be these two planes that I've highlighted here for you. Plane DEF and then plane ABC. So those two planes are the ones that contain line CD. So that means if it contains point A, it can't be a part of either one of those planes. So there's two actually possibilities here. One of my possibilities is AG, and my other possibility is HA. So those are the two lines that are skewed to CD and contain point A, because remember, neither one of those can be part of either plane ABC or plane DEF, the two planes that are highlighted. Now in part C, we want a line that is perpendicular to CD and contains point A. So based on the way my drawing is, I've only got one actual option because it has to be perpendicular. So what I'm looking for is that little box, that little 90-degree angle that's denoted in the corner of our diagram. And that has to contain point A. So then if we analyze that, that's just going to be line DA. For part D is going to ask us to take a look at the plane that is parallel to plane EFG that contains point A. And if I look at plane EFG, that's the one that's basically the bottom of the box. Now I want a parallel plane, so if I take a look at it from the perspective of there's the floor, it has to contain point A, which would be up on the ceiling. So the only plane that's parallel to the floor would be our ceiling. Now there's a lot of different ways you can name this. It's up to you. You just have to pick 3 letters that are consecutive. So here are several different ways that you can actually name the plane that's parallel to EFG that contains point A. Now for the parallel postulate, we're told that if there's a line and a point not on the line, then there's exactly one line through the point parallel to the given line. I've got to draw a picture of this, so let's kind of pick it apart. If there is a line, alright, so I'm going to draw a line. We're going to call that line L. And there's a point not on the line. Alright, so I'm going to pick a point anywhere not on the line. I'll just make that point right up there. We're going to label that point, we'll just call it point P. Then there's exactly one line through the point parallel to the given line. So that means if it's parallel, It's got to be a line through that point, but it's never going to touch line L. So sometimes you'll see that denoted by the little triangles that are on a line that's denoted like here. But that's what the parallel postulate says. And that's just kind of a picture for it. Now, the perpendicular postulate is going to start off very similar to the parallel postulate. If there's a line and a point not on the line, so that means we're going to have kind of the same drawing. Only this time it says then there is exactly one line through the point perpendicular to the given line. So our drawing is going to be very similar in the way that it's going to start out. And that we'll have a line L. And then we're going to have a point somewhere not on the line, call that P. But we're only going to have one line that's going to go through that point that's going to be perpendicular. So when it's perpendicular, that means it's going to intersect at a right angle. And when we see a drawing that has that, we'll notice that by the box that's in the corner. So that's what the perpendicular postulate just says in a nutshell. There's a picture that represents the perpendicular postulate. So one of the things you want to take a look at for the perpendicular postulate, and this just kind of makes sense. If we were to take that line, the red line there on the right-hand side, and we take a look at it, there's only going to be one type of angle that we could get that would actually be perpendicular to line L going through point P. So we could rotate that line around and around and around, but there's only going to be one exact line that's going to make a perpendicular intersection with line L going through point P. Same can be said for the parallel postulate. If we rotate our line around, we're going to have all sorts of different slopes, but there's only going to be one line where the slope of line going through point P is going to be the same as the slope through line L, in which case we'd have parallel lines. So that is going to be a quick illustration of both the parallel postulate and the perpendicular postulate, why you only have one line through point P that's either parallel to point L or perpendicular to point L. Now, we've got one other video for the notes for this section, so after you're done with this one, go ahead and take a look at the next one for section 3.1. Thanks and have a great day.